Hello and welcome to our video. Some countries charge their residents outrageous taxes. And those of us who already pay one stupid tax or another are probably exaggerating how crazy it is. In today's video, we'll show you how some countries persuade their residents to take money out of their pockets. You probably wouldn't believe it, but there are even taxation for fresh air in special areas or participation in popular social media sites. Did you also know that even witches must pay taxes? We wish you a great time, and let's get started.
Catholic and Protestant Germans are expected to pay a certain tax on their income to fund their churches. The tax amounts to 8 to 9% of their capital gains. The government collects it and distributes it to churches. The only way to avoid paying the tax is to leave the church officially. However, there are some drawbacks to this. Any German who formally abandons the Catholic or Protestant Church forfeits certain benefits, including the right to a religious burial. Nonetheless, some Germans are willing to forego these benefits in order to avoid paying the tax. Every year, over 100,000 Germans officially leave each of the churches.
On June 1, 2018, Uganda implemented a social media tax. Citizens who use social media sites and apps such as WhatsApp, Facebook, and Twitter must pay 5 cents per day of usage under the highly contentious tax. On days when citizens do not use the apps or websites, they are not required to pay the tax. The tax is unpopular in Uganda, where citizens have accused the government of violating their right to free expression. Due to allegations that people were using social media sites to spread lies, the government suspended access to all social media sites during elections in 2016.
Venezuela does not put a tax on people simply for breathing. It has, however, imposed a special breathing tax of $20 on passengers departing from Caracas-Maiquetía International Airport. The tax, according to the government, was necessary to offset the cost of the airport's newly installed air filtration system. According to the Ministry of Water and Air Transport, the air filtration system sanitizes and deodorizes the airport while also preventing bacteria growth, protecting the health of all passengers. On social media, many Venezuelans mocked the tax. Some saw it as proof that the airport was broke and desperate for funds.
In Romania, where many people still believe in superstitions, witchcraft and fortune-telling are big business. To generate more revenue, the government imposed taxes on a number of occupations that were previously untaxed. This included contentious occupations such as witchcraft, fortune-telling, and astrology. According to the new law, they were all required to pay a tax of 16% of their income. The tax sparked debate among Romania's witches. Some saw it as the government's official recognition of their job, while others disagreed. The witches threatened to gather at the Danube's head to curse the politicians who had enacted the new tax.
In Sweden, baby names need tax agency approval. Before their child turns 5, Swedish parents must have their child's name approved by the Swedish tax agency. If parents do not comply, they may be fined up to $770. The law was enacted in 1982, ostensibly to prevent citizens from using royal names. The tax agency can protect a child from an offensive or confusing name by approving it. While this may appear to some to be exaggerated, the Swedes have a generally positive attitude toward their tax authorities. With an approval rating of 83%, the tax agency had the country's second-best reputation.
Many smokers worldwide are used to paying a high cigarette tax. Not the people of Hubei province in central China. They were forced to choose between smoking cigarettes or paying a fine. At the time, China was in the grip of a severe economic crisis, and the vast majority of local taxes were derived from cigarette sales. As a result, officials in Hubei province decided that setting quotas for cigarette pack sales was the best way to increase tax revenue. One village was ordered to buy 400 cartons of cigarettes for its officials each year. The goal was to generate revenue from cigarette taxes while also encouraging financial prosperity among China's domestic cigarette manufacturers.
Austria is well known for its beautiful mountains, which are ideal for hiking or skiing. But if you end up in Austrian hospitals with fractures and other injuries, you will be charged with a special tax. It's the so-called plaster tax. The government decided to incorporate a medical services tax into the regular tourist tax. There is no fixed amount for this tax as it's collected directly by the resort you stay in.
Have you ever heard of the Metabo law in Japan? It is also known as the Japanese fat tax. Every year, men and women between the ages of 40 and 75 must have their waist circumference measured. They must pay a fine if their waistlines exceed a certain size. The Japanese fat tax was implemented in an attempt to combat rising obesity rates, and also to keep the spread of diseases like diabetes and strokes in check.
If your shading devices or signs cast a shadow on public streets in Conegliano, Italy, you must pay additional taxes. Restaurant owners and shopkeepers in Conegliano, a Veneto region town known for its dry Prosecco, must pay an additional $100 tax per year. The so-called shadow tax was enacted in 1993 and was supposed to be enforced throughout Italy, but only the authorities in Conegliano accepted it. It's not much money, but after it was implemented, most local owners simply decided to remove their tents and awnings.
Although it may appear absurd, a tax on cattle gases does exist in Estonia. This is an attempt by the government to reduce air pollution and the greenhouse effect. When a single cow digests grass, it emits 350 liters of methane and 1,500 liters of carbon dioxide per day on average. Large Estonian farms with more than 300 cows are subject to a $5,000 tax. Surprisingly, it does not apply to breeders of other animals, who also contribute to air pollution.
This was our summary of some taxes collected around the world. Some are extremely perplexing and exist solely to drain money from people's pockets. But what do we say? Death and taxes are certain. We hope you enjoyed our video and would appreciate any suggestions you have to help us improve our channel.
Please have a look at our other content, and it would be very nice from you to leave us a like. We wish you a very nice day, always smile and stay healthy.